North Carolina officer was arrested in Florida for allegedly planning to commit a mass shooting at a New Orleans festival.
Welcome back to What's the 411 News, where we bring you news observation, interpretation, and news commentary from an FBA and BGR perspective. Let's get it. What's going on, everybody? This is What's the 411 News. All right. So while everybody is talking about the correspondent dinner where there was a shooting at where Trump was attending that dinner, we're going to cover something that I think is just as important or even more important, because we just finished having that report on Officer Ashley Gonzalez and her rants about how she hates Black people. Here we have another race soldier, a former North Carolina race soldier who was plotting to take out some Black people in New Orleans. That's right. He was planning to take out some people in New Orleans. So with that being said, let's take a look at this video and then we'll get into the article a little bit. Go ahead, let's roll that.
Carolina officer was arrested in Florida for allegedly planning to commit a mass shooting at a New Orleans festival. Christopher Gillum of Chapel Hill was arrested yesterday at a hotel. Authorities say he had a handgun and 200 rounds of ammunition in his room. According to the Alamance County Sheriff's Office, Gillum's family reported him missing Tuesday and said he had, quote, expressed recent threats to harm Black people. Gillum will be extradited to Louisiana to face charges there.
All right. So there we have it. We're going to get into this article real quick. And I also want to say this, because you're going to have some other news outlets reporting this, and only a few, if that much, is going to say the part where the family said that he was planning on shooting Black people. All right. So we want to definitely get that straight from the jump, because they're going to say, oh, it's just that he was plotting a shooting. And you just heard it here where it was specific that he was planning on killing Black people. All right. And we just had this situation with the Latina race soldier, Ashley Gonzalez. And now we have the ex-race soldier, North Carolina race soldier, Christopher Gillum. Seems like once again, there's more hate towards Black people than any other ethnic group. So I guess we'll be on the FBI's hate bias list as number one once again for 2026. Like it has been for the last 20, 25, or 30 years. We'll be top on the list once again. And still, no anti-Black American hate crime bill. And still. All right. So with that being said, let's get into this article here. Take a look at everything here. So this is a photo provided by the Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office showing Christopher Gillum being arrested. That was on April the 22nd. Today is what? Today's the 26th, so like 4 days ago, right? So there's an image there. Then provided by the Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office on the 23rd, the next day after that, shows a handgun and ammunition recovered from Christopher Gillum, his room, after he was arrested at a hotel in Destin, Florida. As you see there, you see him with the bright oranges and then his gun and ammo. I guess that's what he was going to use if he didn't have any other weapons stashed somewhere, right? And this photo here, Okaloosa County Sheriff Department again. It says it shows Christopher Gillum. Oh, that might be the previous one. Okay, that's this video here. That's the picture on the bottom. All right, so again, this is New Orleans Police Department officer monitoring a crowd on the first day of the 2026 New Orleans Jazz Heritage Festival, which could have been one of the locations of planned attack, right? That's possible. And again, like I said, you're going to find other news outlets that are going to kind of generalize the plot. But we'll play this video one more time for record references, if you will, who he was planning on neutralizing. All right. You're just looking at this image here. A flock of roseate spoonbill soars across the full moon sky above New Orleans skyline at sunset. That's just a reference image of New Orleans. And we're just going to get into the article, man. All right. We're going to get into the article here. Just a second. Okay. So authorities say a former North Carolina race soldier planned to kill Black people in a mass shooting at a major New Orleans festival, but was arrested at a Florida hotel with a handgun and hundreds of rounds of ammunition. Authorities in several states did not name the event, but the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival, commonly known as Jazz Fest, runs from Thursday through May the 3rd. The gathering attracted 460,000 people last year, according to organizers. Christopher Gillum of Chapel Hill, North Carolina, was wanted for terroristic threats. According to the Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office in Florida. All right. Federal authorities told the sheriff's office that Gillum, who is white, was in the Florida Panhandle heading to do a mass shooting at a large festival in Louisiana. So federal authorities told the sheriff's office that Gillum, who is white, was in the Florida Panhandle heading to do a mass shooting at a large festival in Louisiana. The FBI in New Orleans said it's working on the investigation with law enforcement across the 3 states. The Okaloosa Sheriff's Office said Gillum was arrested without incident Wednesday night at a hotel in the city of Destin and posted a photo of him being led away in handcuffs. Deputies recovered a handgun and about 200 rounds of ammunition from the hotel, the statement said. All right. To all my foundational Black Americans, the summer's about to get hot, and we already have 2 incidences pretty much back to back to each other. And I think it's now time that, as always, you always want to keep your head on a swivel when you go into outside events and inside events. All right. Most definitely inside and outside events. You definitely want to keep your eyes out if you're just going shopping, because we all know about the the Dollar General shootings that happened in the past, and the Tops supermarket up in Buffalo. There was that shooting was Dollar General was one of them, was in Florida, if I'm not mistaken. Right? So again, as I stated, foundational Black Americans is back on, or I'm almost positive will be back on the most hated, the bias list on the FBI's website. And once again, is another example of why foundational Black Americans need to have an anti-Black American or anti-foundational Black American hate crime law put in place, where anybody who says what Officer Ashley Gonzalez says, and when a family or whoever calls in the FBI or the police department and says, hey, look, our guy, our son or our nephew or whoever, he was a former police officer, he's planning on going to New Orleans, or he's planning on going to Atlanta, or he's planning on going to New York, or he's planning on going to Georgia, or he's planning on going wherever to take out some Black people, they both need to get hit up with the anti-foundational Black American hate crime law. Because I know we're going to be on that FBI's list once again as the number one most hated again. All right. So with that being said, let me pull up the video one more time as of a reference of record here to what they were stating. All right. Let's check this video out.
North Carolina officer was arrested in Florida for allegedly planning to commit a mass shooting at a New Orleans festival. Christopher Gillum of Chapel Hill was arrested yesterday at a hotel. Authorities say he had a handgun with and 200 rounds of ammunition in his room. According to the Alamance County Sheriff's Office, Gillum's family reported him missing Tuesday and said he had, quote, expressed recent threats to harm Black people. Gillum will be extradited to Louisiana to face charges there.
All right. So, yeah, there you go. There you have it. There you have it. Again, Black folks, keep your head on a swivel. Start learning protection strategies. You have family and friends that you travel with, you do things with, you run to the store with. You might be their only protector, because if they're children, and children are not going to always pay attention to what's going on in their surroundings unless you play little games with your children to learn to pay attention to what's going on around them. They're not going to pay too much attention. And these type of things, you can play little games with them, and something is as simple as when you get ready to go to a store, a supermarket, say, hey guys, hey kids, I want you to count how many people you notice wearing the color red, or I want you to count how many cashiers were at the registers before we leave. And you, of course, you're going to have to play along with it as well, because you're going to have to keep count yourself, because you're going to have to discuss it when you get back into the car or on the bus or however you travel. You're going to have to discuss it with the kids. Okay. And that's one way that you can start training your kids to be more aware of their surroundings. You can even do this with cars. How many blue cars you see when we get out our car and walk in the store and go back, right? So it's all those little games you guys can play with your children and start getting them being mindful of what's going on in their immediate surroundings. All right. So as always, we appreciate y'all. Let us know what you think about this one. As always, if you're following us on, or you watching our videos on YouTube in particular, be sure to subscribe to the channel, because they're moving people here and there. And like I said, just on the other report we did with Officer Ashley Gonzalez, I was mentioning how I'll lose a few, and then a few come back, and then one disappears, and then two come back. So apparently they're moving people around and making it look like, you know, something went on with their subscription. So hit the notification bell as well. Hit the subscribe button. Tell other people in your family to check out What's the 411 News. Have them follow and subscribe so you can continue, getting all the related news for Black people in the U.S. All right. So with that being said, and around the world, I would say myself as well. So with that being said, I appreciate y'all as always for checking us out. This is What's the 411 News, and we'll be back with another one. All right, I'm out. Peace.
Welcome back to What's the 411 News, where we bring you news observation, interpretation, and news commentary from an FBA and BGR perspective. Let's get it.